Peter.
Ready?
I like your shirt.
That's the Czar, man. Someone called me that. I went.
Why are you the Czar?
Some rapper called me in because I fought the system.
Like a famous rapper?
Yeah, very famous rapper. He worked with a very famous radio DJ, and he recommended me. So where did the Czar come from, right? And it's pretty, publishing Czar, right? And people would think that's cocky, and if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will, right? And I think if you know me, I'm not that prideful, cocky guy, but I've earned, my space in the industry, right? I've look at this. This is like, I've gotten these awards. I got a bunch of them. The #1 acquisitions rep, and that I just keep that a know. I didn't get that award because I was cool. I got that award because I made 100 calls a day, Barry. 100 calls a day. 100 calls a day, where the average sales acquisitions guy, and Don will tell you that, and Chad and everybody else when I worked at Salem Public, the average guy was making, or girl, was making 700-800 calls a month. I'm making 1,200-1,500 calls. I'm there till like 9 o'clock at night. When I first got there, I started in November, right? December, of course, I didn't do no sales. January, I was learning. February was terrible. But once I figured out the system, and there's one thing you do, you have to learn things on your own. Because we would get our sales brochure, we would get our, but Guy Kawasaki was an early guy talking about publishing. I bought his book, 8 Publishing, but this was like 15 years ago. And all I did was hustle, grind. I was on the phone. This is March. I'm the last person, right? So March I did all right. Come April, it's like bam. Like every month, number one, 2, 3, 4, 5. December comes, okay? And I am battling the great Sylvia. If you know who she is the queen of publishing. #1 for 9 straight years. I'm battling her, and I don't think it's a big deal, because even if I lose, I'm in second place. But Tracy, who my homegirl came to me, she's like, dude, just go for it. And I remember it was Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, man, the Thriller in Manila. I don't know, was that? Oh, that was Foreman. But anyway, and we're going back and forth, and that last day, she came up to me and she shook my hand and she's like, I got nothing else. And I'm like, well, I think I beat her by like $100, but it became the #1 rep, and then I went on a run, becoming #1 the next 4 or 5 years.
That's the funny thing about breaking over too. Is once you break over, you didn't have that block anymore. You're like, I can be #1.
That's it. And the thing, hard work, people lie, numbers don't. And I've had a track record of that. So then I went off on my own, and then I was battling a major publishing industry, and I start changing the game. And this is the Good Old Boy Network. Like, publishing has, been around since the tablets of Moses, but this is a good little network of the top 5 publishers. Now they're 4, Penguin, Harper, Simon. Let me keep them out the way.
They're collapsing.
They're collapsing.
The market's shifting.
Because they haven't evolved, and they think they can still do it the same way. And what's happened was, someone was like, yo, you got to talk to Pete, bro. This guy's the czar when it comes to this stuff. He knows his stuff. So I understood the industry. I've studied it. I listen, and thank God for my partner Mimi. But if I could literally, I know what it takes to take a book from ghostwriting to editing to formatting to cover design to upload. I know all that whole process. So I've also, another thing was different that from everybody else in the team, I published my own book. I published the book. So now I'm giving advice because I did it. Yeah. So, and that's the thing I talked about. Like, it's funny when I talk to other people about publishing, and like, oh, I'm talking about this publishing company. Have they published a book? That's one of the key things, right? That's one of the key things. If you haven't done it, stop trying to tell people how to do it. And I published the book. I got the hard work, and then he called me that. And one time my son, Jonathan, said it, and my boy started saying it, and I said, I'm gonna go with it. So since then, the last 5 years I've been the publishing czar, and that's been my brand, but it's because I put the hard work into it. You don't become an overnight success just doing it. You know, you could have your 15 minutes of fame if you're not an overnight, you know, but the ones that put the work in have a constant longevity to it. Those people that go viral and that's they got their 15 minutes, but you can go so far. You go so far with that, and there's a lot of companies, and you're saying this right now, that are falling on the wayside because of this one thing. AI. And we were not ready for that.
No.
Okay? We have gone through so many changes, and I was speaking at this event, and Barry, this is what I want to tell you. AI is never going to replace us. It's the people that learn how to manage it are the ones that are going to replace us. Yeah. So there's two things we have to understand. AI generated versus AI assisted. And this is one thing that me and you are going to have to fight, because we're in the industry. I'm in the publishing industry where I'm watching these Instagram videos. I can publish an AI generated book in 10 minutes and get it uploaded. One, there's so many infringements and plagiarism and copyright is what it is. But I'm hearing also, I can do a whole video, a documentary by clicking one thing and it's done. What do you say about that?
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. The AI age, I think what you're saying is the right approach. And what I mean by that, I think what I'm hearing you say is like, and I've heard this from other people about AI, is like you gotta come alongside it. Mm-hmm. And the people that are coming alongside it are going to win. Yeah. It's like a it's like, I don't know, it's like the equivalent of the automobile against the horse. You know, it's like you can walk to work and this, or you can ride the car to work. And AI is kind of the equivalent. And look, I use it all the time. I summarize meetings with it. I have it organize my meetings.
You're using it as an assistant.
I don't even write. I write blogs. I don't even write blogs anymore. I speak blogs. Give it to ChatGPT or Grok. Ask it to organize it. I edit it and I ship it. And a blog that used to take me a full 4-hour afternoon to think about, I finish in about 30 minutes.
That's crazy.
It's insane. So it is concerning, and what you're saying is right. You gotta come with it, and I'm coming to terms with it. We talked about at one point we were talking about business and reorging, and I'm reorging, and part of it is like relooking how I'm gonna deal with AI. And I've been doing this thing where I've been trying to keep up with just mass producing edits, because everyone wants video. And the editing is your biggest labor cost. It's just like turning a slow wheel. And I'm like, you know what? I've got to figure out how to streamline editing and almost cut out the editor and just dump it into AI. Let AI give me the rough draft and then polish it.
This is the cool thing. You're still producing a high quality video. AI can't produce the video for you.
It feels like cheating a little bit. Probably more in your industry than mine.
Oh yeah.
Because the words of the author, like Hunter S. Thompson, you're never going to get a Hunter S. Thompson through AI.
You'll never get a Hemingway or C.S.
And it's always, and when I put in things to AI, there's times I have to be careful, because sometimes I write kind of truncated, like excited, looking forward to it. Let's do this soon. Boom, boom, boom. Yes. AI will be like, remove excited. Talk about we're doing it today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah.
And it'll just totally take away my
human emotion.
My emotion. And the same happens probably in editing and post-production. I haven't completely delved into it, but it makes things, it gives things a certain generic quality.
Yeah.
And there's only certain times, there's times when I want it and times that I don't. As an author, I'm not excited about this age, but I'm also like, there's times when I just need to be efficient and smart.
I like that.
And there's times when I'm painting a picture and I want to, and I'm going to take my time and paint it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd never run the book. I'm working on my second book, which I've told you about. I would never run that through AI.
No. There's the thing. AI assisted could help, but we don't even use AI assisted to create a book. we can use, I use AI assisted in my life, and I try to help people do that. But if editors are doing it, even Grammarly. Grammarly doesn't understand awkward word sentences, passive to active words. Was it past tense? Was it present state of mind? AI is even worse at that because it's pulling from data that's already been written. And you're gonna get hit with plagiarism a lot of times. You're gonna sound very robotic. So the key is having that human voice element in my industry, and that's where I need to keep that integrity. But I need to use AI and other little things, like literally just I'm training my AI to reply to my emails, because I can't write and reply to the emails I got. I mean, I wake up to like 100 emails, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to teach that so I can manage that. So I think
what are you using for that?
ChatGPT, but I'm training a bot to do that. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Man, Peter,
it's crazy.
You're advanced,
bro. It's not that. I just gotta change with the times.
No, it's true.
I gotta change with the times.
See, that's it right there.
I gotta change with times. This is the thing. When ebooks came around, I was there, right? And we were actually one of the first companies to adapt that at Salem. And people thought the death to books and no more trees cutting and blah, blah, blah. So what happened? Ebook outsold physical books for 10 years. You know what's happened over the last 3 or 4 years? Physical books are outselling digital projects.
What happened to that? How did that happen?
Because people got tired of looking at that little freaking screen or looking at that Kindle, right? People, and these millennials, man, thank God for y'all. Like, they're like out there showing their books and in the pool and in the beach, and they're like, books have made a comeback where they outsold. Like, there's nothing like the feel and smell of a book. So that's what's happening. But ebooks are around, and they're not going anywhere. Audiobooks are around, they're not going anywhere, but they're never going to replace
It's
the
funny
the
that you say
physical
that.
book.
I can relate, man. I get so tired of the screen time. So tired of the screen time.
Bro, it's just like I'm addicted to it.
Bro, tell me, how did you get into this industry? Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in the South Bronx, man. The project, St. Anne's,
man, dude.
Brook Avenue. Like
you and I came from opposite ends of the world.
But we came from the mud.
Yeah.
We came from the mud. We came from the same mud. You know what I mean? It is what it is. One of my best friends, Brad Gabbert, hardcore West Virginian. I would bother him because I was like, "What did you do last night? Burn crosses?" So and throwing at people's lawns. I mean, one of my best friends.
Oh, you
hardcore,
dirty dog.
I know he says it, hardcore trailer park, but he's like, bro, I had the same struggle you had.
Yeah.
Just because you think I'm white, I'm at the free cheese line, and we're doing. So I knew what that was. I knew what the free cheese line was. You know what blows my mind is when I'm at Winn-Dixie or Publix and they're paying a guy to pack bags. I used to do that on tips.
I packed bags.
On tips.
Did you?
Did you get paid?
I just did paper bag at like minimum wage.
No. I was getting tips. I had the little nickel, and you would have to. My dad would have to drop me off because there were guys fighting for those spots.
And you would walk it to the car, and then they'd give you a dime.
They give me a tip. Yep.
Yeah, we used to do that. My grandma used to tip. Every now and then you walk to the car and you tip. But I used to
bro. We come from that. So all that came. And I've been in the industry. I was just speaking at an innovation conference. How I've been around, Peachtree, Lotus Notes, IBM. I've been around DVD technology. I was an early adapter in iTunes and social merchandising guy. So I always been in the technology field. It's weird. Like I was just what made me great at that field was I was a kid from the South Bronx that I was not scared to ask for the deal. Where all my engineers were from different countries and they're locked in a basement creating code and they didn't know how to deal with human beings, right? They were AI generated. I'm the guy going out, Cupertino, San Jose, we're taking a company OTC at $3 to NASDAQ to $47. And of course, it goes back to $2 and so we're driving Hyundais, coming back, Bentleys the following year, and then losing that all and driving Hondas. Like I've seen the .com. I've been there. I've been at publicly traded companies. I have those stories of I'm here at Alexandria, Virginia, and the guy's like, dude, there's a company called Google. I'm like, that sounds stupid. What is Google? And he's like, oh, it's a search engine. I'm like, that's not going to replace Excite. That's not going to replace Lycos. That's not going to replace Yahoo. And overnight, it became the greatest KM2 ever, knowledge management.
How did that happen? That's amazing.
So
That's an amazing
seeing
story.
that, and then I used to flip radio stations. You know how people flip properties? I was flipping radio stations, and I was flipping TV channels. And then I worked, Salem Communications I had 100 radio stations, and I started working with one of the radio stations. My dad gets sick. We start making a change. We moved to Florida, and apparently there's a company owned by Salem Communications called Xulon, and they hired me to do acquisitions. I've always wanted to write a book, and bam, that's how it started.
Xulon,
Xulon.
So you always wanted to write a book, and you wrote a book, and that was the tipping point.
That was a tipping point. I went there and was so involved in sales that it took me another 2-3 years to finish the book. But my book was called Excuses because I'm the king of excuses. So when you become an expert, it's because you wrote a book on that. So that was my.
There it is too. It's hanging. It's on the wall over there.
Yeah. If you want to become an expert, write a book.
Excuses.
Everyone has.
What's up with that? You were the king of excuses.
That's why I wrote.
What happened to that guy?
Because I kept having reasons. I always had a reason not to write the book. I always had a reason not to finish the book. I always had a reason why I couldn't do the book. And then if you justify your reasons more than once, they become an excuse and they become part of your language. So if you can remove reasoning out, and then excuses will wither away.
Bro, that mirrors exactly what a major theme in my book is your narrative. So for you, what you just said is basically the parallel with what I tried to convey in my book, which is like, if you have experiences in your life that become crutches, and you begin to build a narrative around those crutches, you will begin to tell yourself a story about why you can't do it before you even get there. So basically, those excuses are just part of it, right? It's like, for me, it was failing. I can't do it. I have this big goal. I'm going over here.
Yeah.
I have this big goal. I'm going over there.
Yeah.
Why aren't you going, Barry? I can't. I'm not strong enough.
And those
I'm
were
not
valid
good enough.
reasons.
I'm not smart enough.
Those were valid reasons, but they weren't the reason.
Yeah.
Right? There's valid reasons, but over time you're going to piggyback and use those to hide behind your excuses.
Can I just be honest with you? When you have a dream, and it's like right there, let's say that dream is right there, and you're like, that's what I want. How scary is it to go straight for that dream?
You have to have faith. Like you can't like you have to go all in. I like playing Texas Hold'em because I'm terrible at it, and that's why I stick to my apps. But I like going all in sometimes and taking that. You know what, Barry, man? My mantra is this, man. I'd rather live my life with failure than regret, because my failures will speak against my regret.
That was my next question. Is like I just started thinking like that. I'm going towards that thing. Failure. It's amazing, dude. I moved out to Hollywood to be an actor.
No way.
No, I moved out to Hollywood to be an actor. I was gonna be an actor.
You have that actor look.
I was so scared.
You look like the guy from what's his name? What was the sales? He used to sell cigarettes. His show was like for 10 years.
I used to get a Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
And then for a while I got a Ben Affleck, and every now and then I'd get a Matthew McConaughey. I worked on a set of all gay men. I was like the hot
Matthew McConaughey.
I was like the hot assistant.
I'm gonna reach out to Rick Herschel. He's the one that White Boy Rick and Matthew McConaughey did a movie about him. Shout out to my man White Boy Rick. And I'm gonna be
I never watched the movie White Boy Rick.
Yeah. Dude, he's a great dude, man.
You know White Boy Rick?
Yeah, man. I'm trying to get his book done, and White Boy Rick is bro. What's up? And because he did 30 plus years on nonviolent crime, because he, was hooking up with the mayor's daughter. Really? That's a whole other story. But I ain't gonna speak for him. That's his book. But
I gotta read. There's a movie though.
There's a movie. The movie does not give it the justice. He's got to tell that story. You know, I love this. Tina Turner said this. Tina Turner said this. You know why I published my book? Because I got tired of repeating my story and people telling my story wrong. So when I published this book, I did it because now the book will speak for me, and I'll never have to speak ever again because I spoke once in this book and it was my truth. That's why Tina Turner did that book.
Dude, I was so scared. I moved out to Hollywood. I lived on a sailboat. I couldn't get. I was afraid to leave the sail. Dude, I struggle with paralyzing fear. And you know, people might read my book and might look at my life, and I might get some accolades. I'm definitely not a celebrity, but you know, I've had some moments.
No, man.
But I struggle with paralyzing fear.
Paralyzing fear is real, and I've never felt that anxiety like I've been feeling in my older age, because it's like, wow, now. It's like I wish I took more risk when I was younger.
But because of that fear, I took huge risks.
Yeah.
I took huge risks that weren't planned out because I couldn't manage the emotion of the fear.
It's because you ran towards your fear and you didn't run away from it.
Oh man, that's it.
That's it. Like my another mentor, Chad, would tell me. He said, the best way to get rid of problems is to run towards them, not away them. Not away, because if you run away from them, they're going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. You run towards them, they become smaller.
No, it's true. It's true of nature too. You know, if you're out surfing and you get this big huge wave, or if you're even on the shore on the beach and a big huge wave is coming, you don't turn and run away from the wave. You dive through it.
Wow.
Of course, and you pass all the energy. The energy passes over you.
That's awesome.
And that's what I find that to be the case. What's true of nature what's true of life is true of nature. If you want to find universal truths, and you'll find them throughout all things.
Nice.
You'll find that there are like people. We're getting into philosophy. A lot of my book has got dabbles in philosophy.
Yeah.
But there are people who want. Who might argue that they own their truth, or that religions who say that there are specific truths, and you might find that you own your truth, but it doesn't align across the platforms of nature and time and space. So for me, I would argue that maybe it's not true.
Let's finish this segment because I feel like we got to do something about that, riding the wave.
Yeah.
You know, John Maxwell has one of the laws. It's called the law of the Big Mo. The 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. And John Maxwell said, sometimes you either crash the wave, go under the wave, or ride the wave. And the best way to ride momentum sometimes is to ride the wave until it ends.
It is big.
Man, it is an honor, man. My man Barry, just, we got to do this again.
We're gonna do it again.
We gotta do this again.
This has been a perfect start.
I want to do a segment. The playoffs are coming. You know, talk about basketball. You did a NBA. My Knicks. You
NBA.
know,
Kyle Singler, and Kevin Love.
That's why you got it. So
shout out to my boy Kyle, who's been struggling. I don't know if you followed basketball at all, but Kyle's a little off the rails.